Hi, this is Sumir, and today I am going to bring to you a very, very controversial topic. It's controversial not just in India, but internationally. There's a lot of people who have many things to say about this. The topic is none other than the caste system of India. Therefore, my humble effort here is to kind of demystify, present the facts in the right light. We live in the digital age, and we have an onslaught in information from many different sources. We have no way to know how authentic they are, and I've gleaned from all various sources which are very authentic, primarily our scriptures and some very erudite people, both in the social and in the spiritual field. And I've tried to present this to you in the best possible way for your understanding. And if everybody kind of knows, the caste system is generally classified into Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras. The priestly class, the warrior class or the rulers, then there's the trading class, and then there's the menial workers, right? So these are the bases on which Indian society is stratified or distributed. There's a very big fallacy in all of this, and I'm going to blow the myth or the lid of this. There is no such thing as stratification by birth. Even if you're born into a family, let's say it's a Brahmin family, that doesn't make you automatically a Brahmin. And this is something that people don't understand. The general concept that people talk about or people think the way it works is that if you're born into a Brahmin family, you're a Brahmin by birth. Brahmin means Dvija. Dvija means twice born. So once is your actual birth when you're born to your parents, and the second is when you take your allocated profession after years of study and after years of preparation. Indian society, or based on our ancient shastras or our scriptures, divide society into varnas and ashrams. Varnas are classes and ashrams are stations in life. For example, you are a brahmachari, or when you're young, brahmachari means a celibate person. When you grow older, you enter into grahastha ashram, which is your family way of life. When you grow older, you go into what is known as sannyas ashram. So these are, four varnas, and then there are four ashrams which we kind of go to. The varnas are Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. The four ashrams are brahmacharya, which is student life. Then there's grahastha, which is family life if one chooses to be married. Once you go older and your kids are settled and they've been educated, you can choose to go into what is known as vanaprastha, where people retire into a secluded place to contemplate on life and prepare for their onward journey, which is nothing but at your time of death. And then there is sannyasa. Sannyasa ashram is basically when you choose to remain celibate either your entire life, or then you take sannyas, you give up your family life, you finished your responsibilities, your family is well settled, and now you want to discover the deeper meanings of life and you don't want any distraction. So that is basically what sannyasa life is all about. What are the reasons behind which this is so grossly misunderstood? And indeed, I think it's not only misunderstood, it's something that seems to be perpetuated. Either people love it or people hate it, or then these days people are completely indifferent about it. I have studied this very deeply. I've studied it from the point of view of, let's say, Indian scriptures. I've studied it from the point of view of society, social norms. I've studied it from the point of view of various professions all over the world. I've studied it from the point of view of many, many ancient civilizations such as the Aztecs, the Scandinavian countries. I've looked at it from an Egyptian perspective. I've looked at it from a Chinese and Japanese perspective. So I've generally covered all the different ancient societies, and in some way, shape, or form, I have come to realize that this kind of social stratification existed almost everywhere. So what really went wrong? What went wrong is that there was a lot of misinformation, there was a lot of disinformation, there were a lot of vested interests for people to usurp the basic principles of societal classification or stratification and use it to their advantage. So this is something that kind of, it's the myth, the rumor mill, the vested interests, exploitation. And exploitation can be of many kinds. Exploitation can be in forms of money. Exploitation can be in forms of social standing. It can be in terms of the privileges that one would receive. See, one of the big things that happened is that because of a certain body of knowledge being vested with a very small sect of the social strata. They started misusing this knowledge and they wanted to hoard that knowledge to themselves, whereas their basic objective was to spread this knowledge for the benefit of society, which over the years, that mission got diluted. Money came into play, and as we know, when money comes in, there's power, there's influence, and these were used in a very, very negative manner. I've also looked at this from the point of view of corporates, professionals. Corporates also divide their workforce into many classes. If you take sports, there's always different classifications of sports players become specialists in a certain field or a certain activity within the sports arena. Whether you take cricket, you take American football, the modern day, basically the stratification is not based on these things. It's based pretty much on money. So it's the haves, the have-nots, how much money you have, upper middle class, lower middle class, the rich, the ultra rich, the corporates, the businessmen. So these are the ways society has been divided in modern times. And then it complicates even further because this is the money categorization. And then under that, you've still got the Varna Ashrama Dharma, which is not followed the way it should be followed. And I would like to demystify these things for you. So that's what I have to say about social stratification or the caste system. And I hope to bring this to you in a light that's easy to understand and for you to make your own judgment. I'm not proposing one or the other. And I hope that you really like it. I hope that you engage. I would love to hear your comments. You can find me on Apple Podcasts. You can find me on Spotify. You can find me on YouTube, and you can find me on Instagram as Sumir the Seeker. I also go by a couple of other handles. One is known as Not Just Spirituality, and there's a third one which is called Point and Counterpoint, which generally deals with debatable and contentious subjects like this. Thank you so much for watching. It's going to be in various episodes. This is just the introduction. We're going to get into the depth of this, and we're going to look at this across nations, across geographies, across continents, and you will find that this kind of exists everywhere. I hope to engage on a deeper level on this. Stay tuned for the rest of the episodes. Goodbye.